What if I told you that the PS5 Pro means a lot more, and it's bigger than just PlayStation? What if I told you that we need to get used to paying more for everything, and that this is just the beginning? We are living in a crazy time, and I'm going to explain everything about the prices and what's happening, from both a business perspective and a global economic perspective. It's not just the PS5, it's Xbox too, and even the Nintendo Switch, which is now costing up to $500 USD. It's graphics cards that have almost tripled in price over the last 5 years. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you know what they say? Don't shoot the messenger. Also, full disclosure, I'm not an economist and I don't have a degree in that field, but I do have 10 years of experience in sales and marketing working all over the world, so I think I bring a somewhat different perspective. So my hype has also died down a bit since yesterday, so let's talk about the PS5 Pro reveal again from a fresh perspective. It's pretty clear that Sony is feeling the sting of all the leaks this year. The fact that leaks about the PS5 Pro were everywhere well before the official reveal shows how much control they've lost over their big announcements. The way they handled the PS5 Pro reveal felt like they were just throwing in the towel. Like, alright, here it is. You already know most of it anyway. And yeah, you can see it in the presentation style too. It lacked that usual Sony flair. It almost felt like they were just confirming what Daily Hub ranks, Jeff Grubb, MLD, and others had already spilled. Earlier this year, there were reports about Sony launching a major internal investigation to figure out how these leaks were happening. It seems like they've really been struggling to keep their cards close to their chest. And at this point, maybe they've decided to play it safe and save their big guns for a more secure and controlled environment. Or maybe they're just tired of the leaks overshadowing their thunder. So yeah, I get the vibe that Sony is frustrated and kind of just over it when it comes to these big reveals. It sucks to see, especially when we know the potential for those jaw-dropping moments is still there. Based on the recent leaks, it looks like the upcoming PlayStation State of Play in September 2024 is shaping up to be a bit different than what many fans were hoping for. According to reports from a mysterious X account, Brian the Insider, the event won't feature any first-party games from PlayStation Studios. Instead, it will focus on indie titles and third-party games that are designed to leverage the power of the PS5 Pro. From what we know, the event is set to happen on Thursday, September 19th, 2024. This date hasn't been officially confirmed by Sony yet, but it seems quite solid given the source's track record. The same source, Brian the Insider, has previously leaked accurate details about the PS5 Pro, including its price, editions, and even the timing of its technical presentation. These leaks have been discussed extensively on Reddit, where many users noted that the information shared has proven to be mostly accurate. However, if you're expecting big reveals from PlayStation Studios, the teams behind heavy hitters like Spider-Man 2, Horizon, or God of War, you might be in for some disappointment. Instead, the focus appears to be on smaller, indie games and third-party titles, potentially those that will benefit from the enhanced hardware capabilities of the PS5 Pro. Why no first-party games? It's unclear why Sony would choose to omit first-party titles from this state of play, especially with the PS5 Pro around the corner. A possible reason could be to let third-party developers showcase how they can push the hardware without overshadowing them with in-house titles. Another reason could be that Sony is holding back its major announcements for a full PlayStation showcase later in the year, or perhaps in early 2025. A lot of this information comes from Brian the Insider, an account that seems to have popped up out of nowhere but has been on point with several PS5 Pro details. This person either has access to PlayStation 5 Pro marketing materials, or perhaps even YouTube's backend, which is how they've been able to leak details that later turn out to be accurate. Interestingly, this X account has since been temporarily restricted, adding another layer of mystery to the situation. The restriction could be due to several reasons. Maybe Sony took action to protect sensitive information, or it could simply be a temporary measure due to suspicious activity. Either way, it adds some weight to the credibility of the leaks. So yesterday, I got some fairly constructive criticism from someone, and we actually had a bit of back and forth. He made me realize that I might have been a bit too harsh on people. He said I put people down for complaining about the price. And you know what? He might be right. It came from a place where I already knew it was going to be $700 with 2T. I didn't expect it to have no disk drive. I speculated on something like this, but even I dismissed it. And unfortunately, my speculation became true. The thing is, for the past few months, I've been following the market really closely and saw saw things becoming more expensive. And the biggest news of them all? The moment Sony announced they were increasing the price in Japan for the entire PlayStation line, that's when it was confirmed for me that the PS5 Pro would not be any less than $700 USD. We just got news that even the DualSense controllers are becoming more expensive internationally. Game Pass is going up 30%. If PlayStation Plus Extra goes up 10 to 20%, that's when I'm unsubscribing from it too. Now, on the topic of me putting people down, I don't intend to put people down, but I do see how sometimes I'm overly direct. A lot of my subscribers disagree with me, but they don't unsubscribe because they've been here for a long time, and they know the conversation always continues in the comments. The point is, we are having a discussion and sharing opinions, and sometimes I have very polarizing opinions that change my mind. But from a purely analytical point of view, I saw this coming since March. That's it. But I'm not calling people stupid. It's clearly stated in the video that I get it. I get the sentiment. Console gamers are not used to this, but on the other hand, they need to choose. Either compromise on performance and get a PS5, or add a few more bucks and get a Pro. That's the whole idea. I'm probably gonna get a Pro next year, actually. I'm not rushing into it because I have a PlayStation 5 Slim. The bigger dilemma is for PlayStation 4 Pro owners now. I know some of you guys who are subbed to me are still rocking that triple tuna sandwich of a PS4 Pro, and you've been thinking about the modern upgrade. I see this point of view because now the Pro is $700, but the base PS5 with a disc is $450 to $500. It's clear that the $700 asking price, especially without a disc drive, is a bit of a shock. And the decision on what to upgrade to has never been harder. Look, I get it. If you're on a budget, go for the base PS5. But if you want to future-proof, if you want to see that 4K 60 FPS fidelity mode, save a couple of extra bucks and go for the Pro, because in the next 2 years, we'll get games that will really take advantage of the extra hardware. And I've said this before, Unreal Engine 5 sucks on consoles, and this extra boost in performance might finally be the solution for that. I still want to see some new games being shown that really make me feel the urgency to upgrade from a PS5 to a PS5 Pro. Look. When the PS4 Pro came out, it was really a necessity. TVs were getting bigger, 4K was the new hot thing, and the PS4 was starting to struggle with the new games. Basically, the base PS4 was already outdated 2 years in. The PS4 Pro came in and gave more stable FPS and higher resolutions at a very reasonable price, $400 USD to be exact. Remember, this was also the pre-COVID era. Economies were thriving. Consumerism was at the top of the game. There was virtually no China-USA tension, no chip shortages. Then the PS5 launch was imminent, and COVID hit. The whole world stopped. Chip shortages, SSD shortages, those were the things. This period created historic inflation around the world. Look at graphics cards before COVID and post-COVID. Everything doubled. Pre-COVID, you could make a pretty killer gaming PC for about $1,500 USD. Now, a killer PC is $2,000 to $2,500 or more. After COVID-19 hit, the global market faced significant disruptions that led to a perfect storm of supply shortages, skyrocketing demand, and ultimately price hikes for semiconductor chips and graphics cards. Several factors contributed to this situation. The COVID-19 pandemic led to factory shutdowns and shipping delays worldwide, particularly in key manufacturing hubs like China and South Korea, which are major producers of semiconductor chips. This disruption caused a ripple effect across multiple industries reliant on chips, from automotive to consumer electronics, and of course, gaming hardware. As a result, the supply of chips became scarce, leading to a classic case of supply and demand imbalance. During the pandemic, people stayed home more than ever, leading to a surge in demand for gaming consoles, PCs, laptops, and other electronics. People wanted better hardware for remote work, entertainment, gaming, and cryptocurrency mining. Pre-COVID, 2019, you could get an RTX 2070 Super for around $499 to $599. A decent gaming PC build with an RTX 2070 Super, or equivalent, was about $1,200 to $1,500. 2020 to 2021, pandemic peak. Prices soared. The RTX 3080, with an MSRP of $699, often sold for $1,500 to $2,000 on the secondary market. The entire RTX 30 series and AMD RX 6000 series lineup suffered from this price gouging. Late 2021 to mid-2022, prices slowly started to stabilize as more supply hit the market, the crypto crash occurred, and demand from miners waned. However, GPUs still remained above MSRP in most cases. 2023 onwards, prices for graphics cards like the RTX 40 series, e.g. RTX RTX 4070, RTX 4080, and AMD's RX 7000 series have started at higher MSRPs than previous generations due to the lingering effects of increased production costs, inflation, and other market dynamics. While scalping and extreme shortages are no longer as rampant, prices are still higher than they were pre-pandemic. The post-COVID world has led to a new economic reality for technology consumers. Graphics cards and other tech hardware have become more expensive, influenced by a mix of supply chain issues, rising demand, geopolitical tensions, inflation, and market manipulation. While prices have come down from their peaks, they remain above what many remember from the pre-pandemic era. And it looks like the days of $400 high-end GPUs are long behind us, at least for now. Let's go back to consoles. Games take a very long time to make. One of the biggest reasons we don't have too many games, besides the fact of Sony experimenting with live service games, and God knows what Xbox was up to. Fact is, everything became so much more expensive over the past few years, and I'm even surprised they kept the PS5 at such a reasonable price. Given all this, given the fact that chips are becoming more expensive instead of cheaper, the fact that smartphone flagships became more expensive year by year with super incremental improvements, the PS5 Pro price makes sense. I'm not happy about it. I think it sucks, but it's the reality we live in. Some people are even saying we didn't need a PS5 Pro yet. Even Mark Cerny, in his presentation yesterday, said that the PS5 is still a great console. It's not like the PS4 era. PS5 Pro was born out of consumer demand. People wanted a gaming PC-level powerhouse of a console. I asked my subscribers for over a year, many times, would you pay $700 to $900 for a PS5 Pro that truly delivers the power of 4K 60 with RT? Everyone screamed, yes. If it delivers, yes. PS5 Pro is meant for enthusiasts, just like a graphics card like RTX 4080 is meant for enthusiasts. But an RTX 4070 and 3070 are still awesome options. So this is what the PS5 Pro is. People asked and Sony said, okay, we can make one, but it's gonna cost you.